That message from the commander of the armed forces today was telling, I think entirely predictable. One shouldn't read too much into it, but he did make it clear he saw the military continuing to play a role in politics, continuing implicitly with its guaranteed 25% of the seats in parliament, something that Aung San Suu Kyi has rigorously opposed in the past. The fact that she speaks so warmly of the military now and works so hard at maintaining her ties with current officers and with former officers who are in government has led many people to say she's moved too fast to reconcile with them. But one must realise that she is the leader of a party that stands every chance of winning the next election. She's constitutionally barred from becoming president, but that's possibly the only barrier she faces. She will need the military not just to allow her to become president, but she recognises that the military is still there, a real power, that whoever's in parliament or any other prominent role they've got is going to have to work with them. And I think, in her view, saying she's fond of the army, which she now does quite regularly, actually is nothing new. She says the army was founded by her father. She sees the army almost as part of her family, and she recognises the terrible abuses of the army, but says, I still have a real affection for them. So, in her eyes, this is practical, it's nothing new. I think for many people who feel democracy is still on very shaky foundations in Burma, there still needs to be a much cagier approach to a military that is still very, very powerful in this country.
What about this other pressing issue that's affecting Burma at the moment, and that is of the sectarian, the communal violence that seems to be increasing and getting ever closer to Rangoon? What has she had to say about that? And has she taken a stand, a real stand that is what people would be expecting of her as the opposition leader?
I think this is where I think there has been the greatest disappointment. I mean, she has spelled it out to me and to others that she feels this terrible hatred and incredible mistrust, particularly on the Buddhist side, towards the Muslim minority, is something that she can't constructively get involved in at the moment. She said, you know, if I'm seen to take sides, it won't help. I think some people say, well, given that the majority of Burma's population is Buddhist and that she has to win the next election resoundingly, perhaps there's some calculation in that. Certainly, given how poisonous relations are and how weak the government is at the moment in trying to address this spreading unrest, these concerted attacks on Muslim communities, they feel her moral stature would help to correct the perspective that's very widespread in Burma that somehow Muslims don't belong. But she has been very reluctant to do that. She simply says it's not appropriate for her at the moment. There's no sign that she's going to change that view.